Joining me now to discuss the investigations into the disaster at Mount Meron, former Knesset member, former commander of the Yamam counterterrorism unit, and former commander of the police central district overseeing Tel Aviv Jaffa, retired Major General David Tsur. Thank you so much for being with us. Now, this tragedy at initial glances seemed like a terrible accident, but now an investigation is launched, and gross negligence as well as lack of oversight are the words being most thrown around. What are the probes looking for?
Okay. Because it's a very multi-layer event, which is not a regular event like we know, like concert or football games, large sport events, as we know. So there is one manager, a producer, or a entity, like can be municipality or other organization, that the police is the regulator, which is coming with the requirements, and they have to stick to the requirements. And once they do that, the police will sign and will execute the responsibility of each one of the different organizations. In this case, it's a religious ceremony. You saw this year, even it's less than the years before, which I was personally on the mountain for my duties. Wow. You can count more than 300, 400,000 people. Unfortunately, it's a very small place for this kind of event. Also, unfortunately, every 13 years, it's coming to Thursday, which is before the Shabbat is entering. So there's a pressure to push all the ceremonies on different sections of the religious. So everything is being pushed in a way that created this kind of a disaster. So now the investigation will have to go and dig into details for each one of the responsibilities of each one of the organization, which the police, of course, is one of the main cases because they are responsible for the security, safety, and regulator.
And so I know that in fact, that's one of the things that the probes are investigating, the actions and the behaviors of the police and rescue workers and other authorities. So knowing what you know, having even been there in prior years, do you believe that authorities on the ground acted to the best of their abilities?
Well, I know personally the General of the North, Major General Levi, and I know some of the other, the headquarters, of course, the commissioner. Definitely, I can say that the planning and all the other things which should be done before definitely were done. The question is the execution, and the gap between that to that incident, which definitely shouldn't happen. This is something to be checked. And why we're insisting on a committee, which is not investigation, which only against the police, like now they put the Machash, which is the Interior Investigation Unit against the police, which is very aiming only the police responsibility. This is something which definitely I think it's wrong, and it won't bring the truth. And also the most important thing, we won't have a real picture to get the conclusions for the future. So I can tell you, in my background, also I was a Knesset member, and I was in charge of the Knesset also for reviewing the government activities on the mountain, on Meron. And it's like going back, and all the comments were there. The infrastructure, lack of infrastructure, which the Prime Minister, from the Prime Minister to the ministers and going down, this is something which should have been done. And unfortunately, not a lot have been done. I can say that on the traffic issues, a lot of investment were done. Some of the tunnels which were built in order to make different ways for cars and buses to pedestrians, that was done. But unfortunately, the main infrastructure for secure and safety on the mountain, nothing was done.
All right, Major General David Tsur, thank you again so much for your insights.
Thank you, Ron.